94,000 government schools have shut down in India over the last 10 years. That's roughly 25 schools closing every single day. And the kids most affected? They're not the ones with options. A recent Niti Aayog report lays out the scale of it. Government school enrollment has dropped by 2.26 crore students in a decade. Back in 2005, 71% of Indian students were in government schools. Today, that number has fallen to under 50%. The government's explanation is simple. It's called rationalization. Under the National Education Policy of 2020, schools with very few students get merged into a nearby school. The logic: don't waste teachers and resources on a school with 10 kids when you could combine it with another. On paper, that sounds efficient. But here's what rationalization actually looks like on the ground. In one state, its own school education department found that over 7 lakh children aren't enrolled in any school, government or private. In one district alone, nearly 29,000 children have been marked as dropouts. Kids are now traveling 4 to 6 kilometers every day just to reach a functioning school, which directly violates the Right to Education Act's own rule that schools should exist within a child's neighborhood. When a village school shuts down, the nearest option isn't always next door. For a wealthy family, that's a car ride. For a poor family, it might mean the child simply stops going. And that's exactly what the data shows. The children most affected come from below the poverty line households. So who's responsible? When asked in Parliament, a union minister said education falls under India's concurrent list, meaning it's a shared responsibility between the central government and the states. In other words, not one party alone. But the Right to Education Act is a central law. It promises every child aged 6 to 14 the right to free education. Rationalization isn't inherently wrong. Merging genuinely empty schools can make sense. But when nearly a crore children start losing access to education in the process, efficiency stops being the right word for what's happening. The real question isn't whether schools should close, it's whether anyone is tracking what happens to the kids left behind.